felt, my perception was completely different from what I
Hi
did.
everyone, and welcome to part 2 of this reaction video.
After panic attack, I was like losing it.
I am going to continue reacting to this video. And don't forget,
I had to leave early all the time. One of the doctors that I worked for,
was the original video where me reacting and talking about
just like a family practice
stuff.
But he said, I think you're having severe anxiety, and I had never been diagnosed with anxiety. I had no idea.
Check out her YouTube channel and her videos. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, if like,
okay, so we're
comments,
let's try to put you
and
on
all that
paroxetine,
cool stuff.
Which is Paxil. And so I started taking that. I didn't
and
feel
let's
any
have
different. I actually felt worse for a
her
while,
YouTube channel,
where I was just having constant panic attacks, like bad. So then I sought out a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist, what he said to me was that...
So, I'll write quickly for you guys.
Firmly believe that the person that gave me the weed,
enjoying me reacting to her videos?
Laced the weed, and that I was having...
Because I am.
That he probably thought that it could have been
if you want me to react to more of her videos, and let me know in the comments below or on social media, and I will find another video for me to react to.
And everybody was telling me there's no way weed could just make you feel that way, but for me it did. So I was terrified. I never smoked again. Till this day, I've never smoked ever again since 2009. Hold on, let me adjust this real quick. Okay.
Ugh, sorry about that.
So
I will about like.
So that was the beginning of a bunch of trial and error, seeing psychiatrists and being put on different medications. The first one he put me on was Xanax, and I felt like an absolute zombie on it. And I was having still horrible panic attacks all the time on Xanax, and really numb, really just completely out of it. So I could not handle Xanax. The next one he put me on Seroquel, and that was a living nightmare. I would literally see clouds after I would take it, so I couldn't take it for more than like 3 days. Sorry, you guys, it's getting cloudy, so my lighting is like... Okay. And then the next one he put me on was Klonopin. Klonopin did help me, and I was on Klonopin for a couple of years. In spite of all the symptoms, it helped me kind of get my life back on track. But it wasn't just the Klonopin that helped me. It was a bunch of other things that I had to do alongside the medication to help me. So it definitely helped as far as like the panic attacks. They definitely slowed down after a while. But it did take a while on the medicine for it to kick in. Now, I'm not advocating for medication. Oh my God, my lighting. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I'm not here advocating for medication. I am just giving you my story, my experiences, and what helps me. And the things that I'm going to mention to you guys, I am not affiliated with their companies, and I am not like being sponsored by anything. These are just the things that have helped me throughout the years to cope with my severe anxiety and depersonalization symptoms. So he did explain to me what depersonalization was. It's basically a feeling that you get where you feel like you are observing your body as an outsider, or like your surroundings are not real, which is what they call derealization, and I have both. So I have depersonalization where I feel like my body's not real. That's what happens to me when I'm in an extreme anxious state. I'll still feel the exact same symptoms that I felt the night that I smoked the weed. And the other thing, other people experience it as derealization, where their surroundings don't feel real. So sometimes I'll be driving, and out of the blue, I'll start kind of panicking because it'll feel like I'm in a dream, and I'll start to question myself. Is this really happening, or am I dreaming? It's terrifying. One of the most terrifying things is questioning reality, which is something that people with anxiety deal with a lot. Not all of us get anxiety the same way, but for those of us that do, questioning reality it's a mind fuck, basically. And you can have control over a lot of things in your life, but your mind is something that is so hard to control. And, you know, trial and error, for years, I was seeing therapists and psychiatrists, and a lot of people didn't know in my life why I was the way I was, and why I couldn't work, or why I couldn't keep a regular job, why I couldn't work full time, why I couldn't continue to work in the medical field, why I did XYZ. And it was because of my anxiety that was so bad that I would have to constantly leave with panic attacks. And it was a nightmare. So let me fix this. Okay, so I had to learn, after years of trial and error, how to cope with anxiety, because I did not want to have to be on benzodiazepines for the rest of my life. And sometimes I feel like I still need them from time to time, and that's okay if you do. But to me, it was my crutch, basically. Like, I wasn't addicted to the medication. I never became addicted to any of it, even though it is highly addicting. The thing with me was that I had to have it in my purse. If I didn't have it in my purse, I didn't feel safe, because I knew that the medication was my safety net. So, like, I wasn't addicted. I only took it once a day, and I was on a very low dose. I was like on, I want to say I was like on 0.50 milligrams. I was on a very low dose of Klonopin, and I also tried lorazepam, which also helped me after a while. But eventually, I made the decision that I wanted to come off of everything completely. So I did, and throughout the past 4 years or so, I have found ways to cope. And one of the things that has helped me the most over anything has been learning how to deep breathe. And it sounds so cliche, because that's the bullshit they always throw at you, is deep breathing. And I never believed in it, but after I started practicing, what I started practicing was called box breathing. It is a method where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds.
To be honest, I never used the box breathing method before.
Release it and hold that for 4 seconds.
I've got
and there's actually a video that really helped me tremendously, and it still does. The trick with deep breathing is that you have to do it consistently. And you have to do it every day, even when you're not feeling anxious or if you're not feeling a panic attack.
Anger.
Still do it. Train your body to do it.
What you do is
you have to just make it automatic. So that will be your go-to coping mechanism when you do feel
your body
anxious.
is a chair.
If you don't train yourself to do it,
your eyes.
If you don't train yourself to do it
for free,
when you're not anxious, then it becomes a lot harder to do it when you are anxious, if that makes sense. Because when you're anxious, you can't focus. So the last thing you want to focus on is your breathing, but it's so hard to focus on your breathing when you think you're dying, you know? So train your body to do it, even
a small part
when you are not feeling anxious, and it is a total game changer. But you really have to put your intention into this, because for years I struggled with deep breathing, and this has been one of the number one things that has helped me the most. The second thing that has helped me has been learning grounding techniques. Especially for my depersonalization, not just anxiety, but grounding techniques. For me, the ones that have helped me the most is, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but one of my therapists a couple years back taught me about the 5 senses technique. And basically what you do is, when you are feeling anxious, for me that would happen a lot when I was driving, and it would also happen a lot when I would go into like a Walmart or a store, where I would feel really freaked out. So the 5 senses technique is basically, you look around and look at 5 things you can see, name them in your head, describe it, describe the color, like, okay, the blue shelves, the red door, the white curtains and they're soft and they're wide. Okay, so you describe those 5 things in your head. Then 4 things you can touch. So you grab the first 4 things in your vision field. Grab whatever 4 things and you start feeling it in your hands. Like, okay, so this candle, you know, it's hard and it smells good. Like you just physically try to touch 4 things and kind of describe what you're touching. 3 things you can smell. If you're in a candle aisle or wherever you're at. 3 things you can smell. Smell a candle, spray a perfume. I've even smelled like freaking gum before. Open a piece of gum and smell it. Like anything that is around you. And then 2 things you can, it's 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. Yeah, that's what it is. 3 things you can hear. So then you just stay quiet and try to become present in the moment. And you will hear, like right now I hear the air conditioning and I hear the cars passing by and I hear my son playing his Xbox. So just stay present. Try to stay present in the present moment. And then 2 things you can smell. So you can smell a perfume or whatever you have around you that you can smell. 1 thing you can taste. So whether that's a piece of gum or a piece of candy or a piece of chocolate, whatever you can find that you can eat or just taste, do it. Do this 5 senses grounding technique as many times as you need until it brings you from here to here. Until you feel your anxiety go from here to here.
While you're doing that,